There's a reason why for the last 13 years, startups overwhelmingly prefer to build on top of AWS. We have the largest number of services, making it easy for you to take on some of the biggest challenges with the smallest teams. We also have partnerships with the top VCs, accelerators, and incubators around the world, making it easier to secure your next round of funding.
I'm a solution architect with the AWS Head Start program. What we do is we work with startups in the education sector, and we help them build their services on AWS.
So We Power Tech is AWS's diversity and inclusion outreach program. The program is really twofold. One is to increase the number of underrepresented technologists within the industry, and the second is to provide a platform for them to be seen and heard.
If you're wondering how the AWS Evangelism team might be able to help your startup, there are many ways. We're technically credible across our entire catalog of products, so we can help you figure out which services might be able to meaningfully impact your business. We also want to help tell your story. So if you're building something cool, we want to know about it and help spread that message to the world. So you might end up on stage at an event like AWS Summit. If you're a startup, you should also definitely check out the Aws Lofts. These are event spaces that are free to anyone with an AWS account. And you can treat them like co-working spaces, but the awesome thing about them is that we also have people like technical evangelists like myself, solutions architects that come and give hands-on technical workshops and sessions to help you learn how to more effectively utilize the AWS products and platforms that you're already building on top of.
We are a dedicated team of people that love startups. We just want to come and help you with whatever we can, whether it be technical or business focused. We are here to help guide you and make sure that you do have a say in what's going on. We do get your feedback. We do bring that feedback to the service teams. That is what we're here for.
Okay, well, my name is Ngozi Nwabueze, and as you would guess, I'm a legal practitioner. I was called to the bar in 1999, which makes it a couple of years now. And then I'm also a businesswoman. I'm a fashion designer as well, a mom, a wife, and among so many other things, So that basically is it. Yeah, so it's great to be here.
Amazing.
And it's great to share all this knowledge with you guys.
Thank you so much, Ngozi. All right, so Pocket Lawyers is a project that you put so dear to your heart. What were the challenges that even informed that decision to delve into that aspect of entrepreneurship?
Okay. Pocket Lawyers for me started about, say, a year and a half ago. I was just at home because I just had a home and I just had a baby and I needed to find a way to get back, and I was just thinking, okay, what do I do? So I realized that in my years of practice, and even after when I started business, I realized that I had been doing a lot of legal work, for my friends, for family, and for people all around me, and basically business wise, and I just, because sometimes I'll see them want to do something and I'm like, rather than you go and do that, without any legal backing, I would rather do this for you for free. So at a point, I had done stuff like that, done agreements for them here, represented them at meetings and all of those kind of things, giving them legal advice, document review. And I realized that, hey, that there's a business here. There actually really is a business. There's a need and then there's a business here. So I said, okay, how about we take it up. But then I had to do some further research and I realized that a lot of Nigerians, even business owners, are averse to employing the services of a lawyer for several reasons. One, they feel one is too expensive, it's out of their reach. Two, they just feel like, anything that has to do with lawyer is problem. I don't want problem in my life, It's just some very, what would I call them? Just some little things here and there that really I can understand where it is they're coming from. Then some people are they just feel like legal services are for the rich and just for a few people, because the lawyers, my kind, have made demystify the whole legal process. The whole thing about law is so mystical and everything is like a monster that nobody wants to hear, And then you realize that a lot of the times when entrepreneurs, get to the point where they employ, the services of a legal practitioner, a lot of the times their cases are already so bad or sometimes irredeemable, and you just wonder why, when they could have, gotten the services of a lawyer from the get-go, but you can't blame them because of the system that is around them, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So that's what informed coming into the whole COVID era, when I was just starting to pick it up and all of that. And then the next thing, COVID came and, kicked everybody in the shit, like, oh, and I'm like, everything is going virtual. Everything is going from brick and mortar to, online and all of that. You have to find a way to, it's like the future that we're seeing a couple of years in front of us is here now with us, so that is, I now, have to catapult Pocket Lawyers into the future by making it a virtual law firm. So we're working on all of that in the background, and also hopefully, say from the first quarter of next year, by the special grace of God, we should have, a platform that is up and running, and then of course, you guys will definitely be the first to know. Wow. So that's it about Pocket Lawyers. And yes, let me even say this. The idea from the name Pocket Lawyers, the whole idea is your pocket-friendly lawyer, and that's even aside, that's the lawyer you have, on the go.
Yes.
I mean, you put your phone in your pocket, and then, so you can access your lawyer right here on your phone. Wow. About making legal services affordable. So that's it about Pocket Lawyers.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's interesting. All right, so for us here as a startup, one of the challenges, like you rightly mentioned, is that entrepreneurs do not even seek the services of legal practitioners due to various reasons. All right, so I feel that one of the reasons is because they have not really understood what it is that, or why they should actually seek for legal counsel or how to go about it. And that is what informed our discussion today and our conversation. Could you demystify the process for us? What is this legal aspect to the scalable venture? How do we start from the beginning to incorporate the legal into our businesses?
Okay, first and foremost, I think it's simple, and that is why, okay, I didn't mention this earlier. Part of our, core values, part of the things we stand on in Pocket Lawyers is we know that there is a lot of re-education that we need to, do out there, and that is also part of like why I'm on a platform like this. We know that people need to know, for them to be able to know that, okay, yes, they need these services and all of that. And some people have no idea that even in the simplest form, even in those things they do on a daily basis, there is law in them, or rather there is what law can do to make those processes simpler and better. And I'll be taking us on a journey, through this presentation to show you how law is literally in everything you do, like literally. You guys should fasten your seatbelts like the air hostesses will say, and then let's rock and roll.
Definitely.
Okay, so I'm about to start sharing my screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So yes, this is the beginning. So just like everybody knows, the title of the presentation is Legal Aspects of Starting Up a Scalable Venture. And I think I've already done introduction really, when I spoke about, how the average Nigerian entrepreneur is averse to, employing the services of a legal practitioner because of all those, scary, monstrous things that they know about pricing, them feeling like, the services are all the thing about them, that you cannot easily access them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because I've worked in law firm, so I know exactly. Let's dive straight into it. Now, the first question is, at what stage of business development and growth is about. You need legal services from the idea. Just you thinking of that thing in your head, saying, oh, I could do this, I could.
Well, losing you, could you take that again,
you're creating
please?
all those images as needs to be protected. Too many times you have people, wanting to share the ideas with different people, say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. You need to have what we call a non-disclosure / or confidentiality agreement to protect your idea. Now, some of the times you're talking to somebody, that person takes the idea and goes to implement it. But like I was saying, at what stages of business development and growth is legal needed? And like I said earlier, right from the get-go, you just thinking of that idea, you just thinking of that thing that you want to do, you need a non-disclosure. Some people call it non-disclosure, some people call it confidentiality agreement, but they're basically the same thing, to be able to protect your idea from the wolves out there. There are people who will take your idea and implementing this, some will take your idea, refine it, add 1 or 2 things to it, and then take it to market, and all of that. So you need a confidentiality agreement for you. I don't care who it is you're talking to, whether it's somebody who wants to, even an investor, you want to speak to an investor, somebody who you're hoping will put money in your business, please go with a non-disclosure agreement. And it's not that this person is going to be able to support me. Now, let me tell you this. If it's a agreement, I will know that you know exactly what it is you're doing. And I will respect you for that, knowing that, okay, you even want to protect your idea and your business right from the get-go. That's in my mind will take you 2 notches up. If I was to do like a 0 to 10, put you on a 0 to 10 scale, before you even open your mouth to say anything, and that's the first thing you say, you're already on maybe scale number 3 on the on the scale. So do not be shy or feel funny. How do I take this to somebody who I'm hoping can assist me in one way or the other? Please ensure that you do that. Then of course you also have to register the business. You have to, depending on the kind of business it is you want to do, either register a business name or incorporate it as a limited, or if it's an NGO, of course, you register it under Part C and all of those things. Then, of course, you need other documents. For example, if you are going to partner with other people, you need a partnership agreement. If you're employing people, you need contracts of employment. If you need policies, you need disclaimers and all of those things. And there are several things a lawyer can help you do. For example, a lawyer could help you prepare these documents, contracts and agreements, can also help you with statutory compliance matters. For example, like registering your business, your taxation issues, and all of those things. Those are statutory compliance, requirements. Then, of course, representing you at meetings, then giving you legal advice on, different things, Then, of course, there are people who you want to go into, different businesses with, and they send you like a document, maybe like an agreement, or they send you, a memorandum of understanding or whatever. You can send that to you need to send that to your lawyer to ensure that the agreements, the oral agreements, or whatever meeting it is you had, whatever it is you agreed upon, is exactly what is in the document that they have sent you to sign. I've seen situations in which people have sat and they've had a meeting, and then they construct, an MOU or an agreement or whatever, and then by the time they send it across to the other person, it has different colorations of, different clauses that they did not even discuss. And then you see that person will just, oh, okay, we've discussed it, you sign it, and then later you find out that you have tied yourself, and then you now start to say, no, this was not what we said, but this is what you signed. And at the point when he said, she said, is the document that will supersede. The document supersedes. Nobody's going to listen to, oh, this was what you actually agreed. No. Once you have appended your signature and you can, affirm that that signature on there is yours, it's a done deal. So, yes, the need for legal services starts right from the beginning of the idea up until, of course, scaling and all of that, implementation, execution of the idea and all of it, even to the point where you want to scale, you want to source for financing, you want to source for whatever it is you want to do with your business, you need legal at every point. Okay, so now moving on. Why is there a need for legal in building a scalable business? A scalable startup. Like I already said, ensure that all your business endeavors, are tight. Are tight. Then of course, when everything is written down in black and white, it helps minimize disputes. All this, oh, he said, she said, you know, like I always tell people, one of the functions of the memory is to forget. That sounds, but also has another function, which is to forget. So now, I mean, a lot of us cannot remember a lot of the things we said last year to, you know, conversations we had even with people. So how much more, you know, things you said even further back, you know. So once everything is written in black and white, it helps to minimize disputes, you know, and all those he said, she said is out of there. It also helps to build trust, give peace of mind, and manage expectations. So after everybody has said everything it is they want to do, by the time it's in black and white, you know that, okay, this is what you expect from this person, this is what you expect from that person. So, I mean, peace of mind and, you know, like I said, manage expectations. It also helps, a lawyer helps you protect your intellectual property. Just like what I said earlier, you know, with the non-disclosure agreements. Then, of course, by the time you say, for example, you register the company, you can trademark certain words or certain names. Maybe, for example, you have a parent company and you have a subsidiary. Rather than re-register that company or something else, you can trademark that name so that nobody else uses that name to do business. You know, then of course you have copyright if you have literary works and all of that, and then patents if you have, say, for example, an innovative idea that, you know, you are bringing to the market that nobody else has done. Then you can apply for a patent. You know, so these are the things that a lawyer can help you do. Then of course, by the time you have, for example, say a website, let me use this as an example. And if you know, on the average website you go to, you see all these warranties, all these terms and conditions and everything, all those kind of things helps you limit your liability. Say, for example, something happens, right? Against maybe that kind of liability, or even if it's not a website, you know, that helps to limit your liability. All you need to do is when something comes up, you call up that clause, and then that's it. And it also helps to minimize your risk and helps to give good customer service. What do I mean? Because of course everything is written in black and white, and it helps to also manage expectations, the expectations of your customers. You know, yes, customers are always right, but trust me, they are not always right. You know? But of course, when there's a document that puts all the services and whatever it is you're offering in black and white, it helps you so much. And there's something I'm going to say later that I'm sure that everybody who is a business person here would be able to relate with. And of course, a lawyer also helps you get paid. How? You know, there are so many people who go into business transactions with third parties and they don't, you know, have all these contracts and all of that. Then of course, when it gets to the time of payment, of course, sometimes they give you maybe like an upfront or a down payment. When it comes to time to pay the balance, then you start to hear all sorts of, you know, stories and all of. You don't need that. You really don't need that. You know, running your business and, you know, going from day to day is enough hassle for you. Then of course, you know, there's a discrepancy as to, okay, maybe how you should get paid. Maybe, okay, you agree that, okay, there should be an installment at this point, 30% at this point. Then your lawyer can also help you come in, you know, to mediate, or as the case may be, you know. So yes, then this is very, very, very crucial. Having a lawyer handle your legal matters helps to boost your company's image and your brand's value. If I approach you, right, and we have a discussion, and the next thing you tell me, so my lawyer will draw up an agreement and send to you, I'm looking at you like, oh, okay. All right. And then if you don't have a lawyer, you're sitting there looking like, you know, impression. It helps to create what's the word? Perception. It helps to create perception. See, trust me, there are certain reasons why, you know, somebody can, maybe people in the same industry are offering the same service. There's a reason why somebody is paid more than the other person. Perception. When you create a certain value and all of these things add up to boost and increase your brand. But of course, a lawyer also helps you ensure compliance with statutory, you know, requirements. Just like I said earlier, you want to register your business, tax matters, filing annual returns. Yes, and that's another thing. By the time you start and you have a business, you know, or you have a company, having a lawyer, there are so many things you need to be doing. You know, for example, filing annual returns, tax matters, or you want to do something, they ask you, okay, you need to go and get this, you need to go and ensure you do this. Or maybe, for example, you add one director to your business, or you take out a director, or maybe you appoint somebody, to the board partner, there's a dilution of share, this statutory, because of course with CAC, you have to go and file certain documents at CAC, and so there's a lawyer that can help you with all of those things. Your memorandum of association, your articles of association, I lost the connection there for you.
We seem to be having connection problems this evening.
But okay. I'm back. That was fast. I'm becoming a pro at this.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm learning on the job. Okay, so now the next thing is, what are the types of legal documents a venture needs to protect themselves in order to thrive and to scale? Some of these things I've said before, but I'm still going to reiterate. First is your certificate of incorporation, meaning your business has been registered with CAC. I think that's the first point.
Wow. Before
any other thing. By the time you register your business, whether it's a business name or it's an NGO or it's a limited, first thing, register with CAC. Then, in a situation where you have, say, co-founders, maybe it's a startup and you have co-founders, you have like a CTO, CFO, or CLO, whatever it is you have, you need to have a founders agreement. In the founders agreement, it states the roles and responsibilities of everybody, what it is your shareholding proportions are, your KPIs, if the shares are going to be vested. By vesting of shares, I mean, say, for example, the shares, of course, that have been allotted will take effect from a certain time. All of that will be there, and the terms and conditions for all of these things, whatever it is you guys agree as co-founders, should be adequately stipulated in a founders agreement. I recently did one this week, and it was 17-page long, and the person I did it for is like, what? And I'm like, yes, you have to ensure that you foresee into the future anything that can arise should be adequately spelled out from the get-go to avoid any issues. Imagine 17 pages of, I'm sure he was looking at it like, but I'm like, that's how I work. That's how I like it. I don't want to be caught unaware.
Exactly.
So yeah, that is, for example, if you have a publicly quoted company, and you have shareholders, there needs to be like an agreement stating, the allotment of shares to all the shareholders and all of those things. Yeah, director service agreement. If you have, for example, a company, a limited, your directors need to know what is in it for them, remuneration-wise, what are their working hours, what are their roles, in case you want to terminate them, in case any of them wants to leave, what are the conditions, what are the terms, all of those things need to be expertly stated. Tax clearance. After the point where you register your company, the next thing you do is to run across, to the tax office to get your TIN. That's your tax identification number. Because a lot of the times, anything you want to do now in Lagos states, for example, even federal, let me say in Nigeria, your CAC certificate and your TIN number, those two, if you don't have it, oh Jesus, you have not started. These are just the basics. Then, of course, there are some other documents, but you see these two, you must absolutely have these two. That's your certificate of incorporation and your tax identification number. Now, of course, the MEMAT, that's the Memorandum and Article of Association. These are basically the laws that guide the existence and operations of the company, and all of those things. These things will be prepared by your lawyer. Then, of course, trademarks, patents, and copyrights, all of those protecting your intellectual property. A trademark basically is a symbol, a word, or whatever that is registered, that says that, okay, this mark belongs to, this company. Like, for example, if you see the Coca-Cola bottle, I don't know if they still write it on these days, that they'll put that their Coca-Cola sign and say this is a registered trademark of something.
Yeah.
So all of those things. What that does is names that they use. Like I'm sure, like say for example, a name like Fanta is trademarked, so that no other person can use that name to do any other thing. Same thing with copyright for your movie script, your poetry, music, novels, movies, songs, whatever it is. I'm sure that there are so many people who put out a lot of literary works. That is, issues around here are not, so many. So getting a patent is not,
Hello, I think we're losing you. Are you still with us, Ngozi? Hello?
Okay, and I'm back.
We're back again.
The devil is a liar. Okay, so as I was saying, if this was a country where literary works was appreciated,
Yes.
For example, Michael Jackson is dead. He's still making money from his music. Generations unborn will keep to make money from your work. I know that yes, it might not be happening now, but it's better you protect your literary works, because in the future, of course, things are getting better, and all of these things, people are taking these things into consideration. The legislator, they are doing things on a daily basis. In another 5 or 6 years, or maybe 10 years, it will become maybe a priority. And if you had not protected all of that in the past, there might be some issues here and there. So I just advise that it's best to do and all of that. So now this is a big one. Employment agreements. My God. So many people employ people without employment agreement. They don't even do offer. Like, okay, let me even start from the beginning. People put out job ads there without job descriptions. The person who you're employing doesn't even know what you're employing them for. Let's even start from there. Now, the person comes for the interview and all of that. You don't even give them an offer letter saying, okay, this is what I'm offering you, accept. Now, at the point of acceptance, you now have to give them, what do they call it? A contract of employment. All of these things, this process, a lot of people don't do it. I've seen so many people who employ people. My brother, they run away with their property, their laptops, their phones that they had access to, that they were using to work. They run away with all sorts of things, with their clients. Yes, they run away with their ideas, because of course when you employ someone into your business, they have access and you gain. So you have to protect. I don't know if you guys can hear me, if you guys lost me.
We lost you for a bit, exactly. Thank you.
Okay, let me backtrack a little. So minus the employment agreement, you need to sign a non-compete agreement. Very important. I can't stress it enough. A non-compete agreement with the people you are employing. Now, what is a non-compete agreement? That as they are working with you, they cannot go into any business that is related to or similar to what it is you are doing. You can even tie them and say, even after they leave, maybe for 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 years, depending on the kind of business it is you do, that they cannot take your customers or take whatever it is they have learned or whatever, or basically set up a business that is similar to yours. So you can use that to clip their wings even for after they have left you. Usually for say 2-3 years. you know, and all. Then you also need to sign a non-disclosure agreement, especially if you are dealing with, if the kind of business you do entails that you also deal with clients, with third parties. That's your customers. That is, your staff deal with your customers, with your clients. People, you need a non-disclosure agreement, because these people are not just having access to your own personal business information, they're also having access to your customers and your clients' information. So you need to be able to ensure that you protect yourself and you protect your customers. You understand? So very, very crucial. Now, there's another thing called a contract for service. This is when you employ like a contractor to do some work for you. A contractor basically is somebody who, you know, it's not in your direct employ, but you're getting the person to come and do one or two, perform one or two, you know, you're hiring the person to come and do one or two, you know, tasks or jobs or projects or whatever. You need a contract for service to delineate, you know, their roles, their responsibilities, you know, timelines, you know, KPIs, whatever it is that needs to be done. Everything should be expressly stated. Then partnership agreements, I think I've discussed that already. Okay, I've discussed non-disclosure to and non-compete. Now, the non-compete could also be a clause. It could just be a clause in the
non-disclosure,
in the contract, yeah, in the non-disclosure or in the contract of employment. The non-disclosure could also be a clause, but let it be a well-rounded clause in the contract of employment. You know, but for me, I'd rather have separate agreements, because that way. No, really, because if it's just a clause or maybe a couple of clauses, you cannot cover a lot of ground. But if you have a separate contract, you can cover anything and everything that needs to be covered, to cover yourself and people who you do business with. Now, there's something. This is a new type of, you know, of document that was introduced by Y Combinator a couple of years ago. It's called a SAFE. A SAFE is a simple agreement for future equity. Basically, this is used by people who are seeking funding from angel investors. Right now, an angel investor usually is bringing in money at the seed level. It's bringing in money at a point when that business does not have traction. That business is probably just an idea. It doesn't have anything that can be valued. They cannot say, okay, you can only project. The business cannot be valued at that point. So yes, there is no basis for you to be able to say, okay, I'm giving so percentage to this investor. So now what the angel investor does is, they all, besides bringing money, they also bring clout, they bring connection, they bring all of that. They bring even their ideas, they bring their, you know, everything they can bring to the table to ensure that unicorn, you know, takes off. You know, so what you now have with them is a simple agreement, just like the name goes, simple agreement for future equity. So you're giving them, they're giving you money, you're not giving them shares now. At a future time, when there has been maybe like further investing, you know, maybe by a VC or whatever, you can now sit down and say, okay, let's value this business now. And then let's now appoint shares to the angel investor. Now, the great thing about this is the angel investor usually gets more value than the VC or whoever else it is that's coming. Say, for example, one share is going at maybe 15 naira to the angel investor. It will probably, that share would probably be going for 20 naira, you know, to a VC, because that person has put in money at a time when he or she wasn't even sure if the money was going to come back, or if, you know, the business was going to survive or anything. So yeah, that is that. And of course, we have other kinds of investment agreements, for example, equity, or if depending on kind of, you know, financing that it is, whether it is equity or debt financing. Now, equity financing basically is, I want to give you money to put into your business for shares. Debt financing is, okay, I want to give you money, but you're taking it as a loan. You are going to pay me back after so time, and with so, you know, interest and terms and conditions. So that is that. Then of course, if you are contracting, say, for example, you are building like a website, you need software development agreements. You need cookie policies and privacy policies, website terms and conditions, disclaimers. This one, I'm going to pause on this one. Now, you see disclaimers and policies. Those two are two things that every business person should take very seriously. What is a disclaimer? A disclaimer is basically a statement denying liability. There are times when you go to a company and the parking lot you see cars are parked as owner's risk. That is a disclaimer, meaning, yes, so it's our parking lot, but if anything happens, oh boy, you're on your own. If anything happens to your car, you are on your own. So what do? You use it to limit your liability, to ensure that you are not taking on extraneous, liabilities here or there. All of those things kind of put burdens and stress on, a lot of the times your lean resources, and all of that. Now, for policies. Policies are, I want to say, the lifeline of every business. You can have a policy for anything. Anything. For example, let me give this. Now, businesses are going digital. Everybody's going online. Oh, they're running to, those that cannot even do websites are going to Instagram, they're selling on WhatsApp and all of that. A simple policy that I'm going to say, for example, is a delivery policy or a return policy. You sell an item to a customer. They deliver the item to them. They realize that the bag is smaller than what they saw online. You will be shocked. They return the bag to you. Now, you have sent a delivery company to, they paid for delivery one way, right? Because they, of course, assumed that there was not going to be any issue. Now, that customer wants to return that item to you. They're not going to go and pick it up. You will send a delivery company to go pick up, right? Now, because you probably have a non-refund policy, you would want to ensure that you're not, of course, you can't refund money, right? You ensure that you get another good, another item to replace that one. Yes. Now, that means you are sending a delivery company to go and pick up that item that had an issue, and you are sending another delivery company to take the new item to your customer. Who's going to bear that cost? By the time you do this 5 times a week for 5 customers, sit down and do the math. You understand? Yeah. Now, you should have a non-refund policy if that is what you want. You understand? You should have a delivery policy if that is what you want. Then there are customers that will buy stuff from you. Use it. Yes, they will wear it and tell you it's not their size. You are not there. Yes, people do these things. They will, maybe they have an event. They'll put the label inside. You will see all sorts of things. Even shoes. They will wear the shoe to that event and return it and tell you it's not their size. So please, who will bear that cost? So now these are the things where you cannot have these policies, where you can now say, in case of return, the customer bears the cost of redelivery one way. You save yourself a lot of headache. Now you can even say, okay, fine. If, for example, you make a dress or you sell dresses and the customer gives you a wrong size, you can even have a policy that says, if the fault is yours, you can pay one way. If the fault is the customer's, then that customer will bear the cost for both ways. Exactly. You are a small business. You need all the money you can get. Yeah, the profit you're probably making is probably not even up to that delivery 2 ways. So, who send you a message? You understand? So you need all these little things. Now, thank God for all these apps that are bubbling up here and there. You can send e-receipts. You do all of those things. Now you can even create your e-receipt to have these policies, attached to you. So as you're sending it to a customer, the policy is already there. Madam, sorry, please check the receipt that was issued to you. We have a non-refund policy, or we have a redelivery policy, or whatever it is. If it is favorable to you, if you will be willing to pay for one way or pay 2 ways, then we can go on. If not, then it's our policy, and all of that. So you can stand on all of those things and claim certain rights. But if you're just going with the wind, my brother, my sister, you will just realize one day, if you sit down and you do the math, and this is just an example, there are so many other places in which you are losing money. And this is one of the ways that, legal can help you, plug all those, loopholes and all of those things, So what is the effect of not employing legal from the get-go? God. I've had so many people come up to me. I've had people lose businesses worth millions of naira because of simple little things. They did not have a tight enough agreement. So people downloaded templates from the internet. The templates they downloaded from the internet did not have all the clauses they needed. I'm dealing with one case right now. I'm not even kidding. Please, I cannot emphasize this enough. People should, those templates you download from the internet, no two matters are the same, right? No two matters are the same. And when you have when you have a transaction with somebody, it will definitely be different from whatever transaction somebody had on the internet that made them generate that particular template that you are downloading. No two matters are on all fault with each other. You understand? And now there are certain clauses that might be in there that might not favor you, but you wouldn't know. There might be certain clauses that should be there that you do not know because you're not a lawyer that would also help protect you. You know, so all of these things are are the reasons why you need legal from the get-go, from absolutely the get-go. Now, we have come to this very crucial point. Why you need legal now more than ever before?
Before we do this, can we, the audio is, am I audible? Before we do this, please, I think
yes,
the audio
is
having a little bit of problem. So I'm going to log out and try and log in again.
Okay, that's
I don't know what the issue is.
But you can hear me, right?
Okay, I can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. All right, let's continue.
All right. So, COVID-19 took the whole world by storm. Everybody now, we are doing this because of COVID-19. Yes. It's a beautiful thing, you know. It has, you know, the whole effect of COVID-19 just shows the adaptability of human beings to different situations and circumstances. Business is still going on.
Yes.
People now, because of the whole pandemic and the whole social distancing, you know, the whole lockdown, you know, limiting human interaction and all of that, a lot of businesses and all of that are going digital. A lot of businesses are going online.
Yes.
Now, human interaction is limited. When we were interacting with people, we were having issues. Now that you're doing virtual, you can imagine what is going to happen.
I can imagine.
Now everybody that is online shouting no scam zone, no scam zone, come and do business with me. You know, because you can hide behind so many things. You can hide behind virtuality, behind the online whole masquerade, you know, to do a lot of things. So now that the human interaction in business is highly limited, we are now having to trust each other more.
Yeah.
That this person is going to do what he or she said or says he or she will do. Now, this is even the more reason why you should not do business without legal. The more reason why, the more reason why legal is the way to go. Like, I can't even do anything with anybody now without putting pen to paper. Please, even if it's, and the great thing about it is you don't even just type something, you know, and just append your signature, whatever, but just have it in black and white, please. You know, so the need now is more than ever before because of the way business is going, you know, these days. Okay, how did I get to the end so quickly? Oh my God, I'm at conclusion and I'm you know, and I'm just, you know, getting I'm having a lot of fun actually, you know. So
exactly, that's the idea.
You know, so well, let me just say this. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, we are doing gentleman's agreement." I laugh in Spanish. When Casala go bust, that's when you will know that there ain't no gentleman on this street, yo. Everybody is all man for himself.
That's
you know, and then trust me, I've seen situations where, you know, so-called friends, paddies, you know, we do business together, you know, we've done stuff together, you know, in the past and all of that. And something very simple will tear that friendship apart and tear that business relationship apart. So there is no such thing as paddy in business. Family members, very good friends, relations, whether the person is your extended, whatever, ensure you put pen to paper. And like I said earlier, please do not download templates of the internet. And if anybody, say for example, sends you a document to say, okay, please, this is the document stating what it is we have already discussed. Please send it to a lawyer, send it to me. Take a look at it for you to ensure that everything that you discussed, that you agreed on, is what has been put in black and white before you append your signature. You know, so yes, always insist that there's a contract. Never feel awkward, please. Never feel, oh, this person. But trust me, in the long run, that person's respect for you is going to go. That person's respect for your business will go. It just puts you in a better light. It just puts you. It just helps you with structure. If you're approaching, if for example, excuse me, you're a one-man business, for example, and I can just imagine you approach, say, an advertising firm for whatever reason. Let me say you are a graphic designer and you approach them, or maybe they approach you for something, and then you send them a contract, or you send them, an e-receipt, or you send them something, you send them maybe with a disclaimer on it, or maybe with like a policy or something. They look at it like, this person knows what he or she is doing. They might not say it, but trust me, their respect for you and their respect for your business and their respect for your work will grow. You understand? Now, it would also affect your pricing. All of those things, all of this is all about aesthetics. It's all about perception. The perception you create will determine how people will look at you, look at your business, and price you. It's as simple as that. Then another thing, please.
Wow.
If you talk to somebody about business over the phone, please, or maybe talk to somebody about business, or maybe in person, you guys sit down and you talk. Ensure that they send you a mail. Ensure that you have what I call paper trail. What is called paper trail? Paper trail is very important. WhatsApp message is fine, but if they send you WhatsApp, you could ask them, because of course you can lose WhatsApp messages, right? But anything that you send to your mail, as far as that mail is, is something that you can still access anytime, that mail will always be there. You understand? So ask them to do whatever it is has been said, put it in the mail. It doesn't have to be anything formal. That is if, for example, it's not everything you need a lawyer for, really. In all of these kind of situations, just tell them to send you a mail. Now, going forward, any other conversation it is you have, how the mails just keep piling up. It goes from here. When you reply, it just goes like that, like that. So that's a paper trail. That's a conversation trail. So if anything happens, you have a place to go back to. Say, for example, you don't have like a contract, or maybe you already have a contract, and how it is you have a contract and you guys are discussing more things, you're adding one or two things, you're taking one or two things out. That paper trail will help you, support whatever agreement it is you already had. So that is very, very crucial as well. And lastly, sooner or later, you will get a lawyer. Let's hope it is sooner than later, because usually when it is later, water don't pass, guys. You understand? Water don't pass, guys. So yes. I always advise, just try and get one. Just try and have access to one. If you don't have one, just speak to me. Just speak to me, and I would ensure that I put my best foot forward for you. Trust me, it's something that I'm really very, very passionate about. It's something that I can do for free because I love soliciting. Soliciting is my strength. With law, there's advocacy and then there's soliciting. Advocates are those that that go to court and all of that. But soliciting is my strength, and I love to do it. It keeps me up at night. So I can literally do it for free. But of course, I have bills to pay. I know. But then again, Pocket Lawyers is there for you to ensure that services that we offer are pocket friendly, and all of that. And you will see very soon what it is we're talking about by the time. Of course, we've started operations and all, but by the time the platform proper, is up and running, then you would appreciate what it is, we're saying. So please.
Oh, great.
Just please, you can. I'm sure you're gonna share this this with them. I'm sure you're gonna share this with them.
Yes.
So that they can have access to it even later.
Yes, I will. Can you kindly exit your screen sharing now?
Okay, all right.
Exactly. All right, great. The light interference too.
Yes.
All right.
The sun.
No problem at all. All right. So can we delve a little bit into the structure, business structure wise, as per sole proprietorship or limited liability or whatever other form that you can take. Because a lot of entrepreneurs go ahead and register something like a limited liability.
Sorry, your mic is, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Oh, all right. So I said, can we delve a little bit more into the aspects of business registration, for instance?
Okay.
How is choice determined for an entrepreneur who wants to start, for instance? Should he just go ahead and register a limited liability company and become a limited man or an NGO?
Very important question. Very beautiful question. And I get this question man, the sun line is really, hold on, just 1 second. Let me switch the blind.
All right, no problem. That's better. That's better.
Okay, yes, that's better. So yes, I get that question a lot. There are people who approach me and the first thing they say is, oh, I want to register a business name because I cannot afford to register a limited. And I tell them, and I say, that should be the last thing that you should think about. Money should be the last consideration when you are trying to pick, what kind of business to register. There's so many other things to consider. Say, for example, yes, of course, there's nothing wrong with registering a one-man business. That's a sole proprietorship, or registering a business name. But it depends on the kind of business you want to do. There are people who want to do multiple businesses. There are people who, say, for example, you want to set up a salon, just a salon, a hair salon, or a barbing salon, something, you could register like a business name. But say, for example, you want to do something, I don't want to use serious. Let me not use the word serious. You want to do something more
complex.
Well, yes, something more complex. Or maybe you want to do something that is going to be more encompassing. So, for example, you want to do several businesses. You want to have like a parent company and you want to have subsidiaries. You have to register a limited. There is no two ways about that. Now the things you need to also consider, minus what it is you want to do with the business is this. Okay, yeah, so people also tell me, oh, tax matters. Well, if you register a business name, the truth is you'll only be paying one tax, that's to the state government. But if you register a limited, you'll be paying two taxes, right? That's to the state and to the federal government. But I still feel there are ways around these things. If you speak to like somebody who is vast in tax, there are ways they can help you, cut corners. Cut corners around these things, but yeah, they do, so let that not be the consideration as to why you are now saying you want to register a business name as opposed to limited liability. Now, there is just something more prestigious about a limited liability. There are companies who will not do business with a sole proprietorship just because of the way the structure is. Because a sole proprietor means that the business is tied to that individual. Say, for example, that individual passes on or something, then everything goes. Now, the beautiful thing about the limited liability is that the limited liability company is seen as an entity in law. What I mean is, it's seen as a separate individual in law as opposed to a sole proprietorship that is tied to the owner. Now, that means the company exists on its own. That company has liabilities and that company also has benefits on its own. So why they call it limited liability is that in case anything happens, the liability of the people who own the company is limited to their shareholding, meaning that you cannot, say, for example, go to their house or go and carry their cars or whatever it is that you feel that you need to have access to be able to settle whatever liabilities that the company has. The company is an individual in law and should be treated as such and should settle whatever things that crop up from its operations. So that is how it is. And like I said earlier, there are just businesses who will not do business with a sole proprietorship.
Wow.
And for so many other reasons here and there. So depending. So usually what I do is when anybody consults me and they're like, oh, I want to register a business name, and I ask them, okay, so let's leave what you want to register first. What do you want to do? When they now give me an idea of what it is they want to do, I cannot advise them and say, okay, based off of what it is you want to do and the things you even want to do with business in the future, I'd rather advise that you register a limited. Now, say for example, you don't even know, of course, we're all sitting here, nobody knows the future. You might have one or two other businesses that you want to also do in the future. I'd advise you that you register a limited that is encompassing, so that whatever it is you want to do in the future can also fit in. So that you don't go about registering different companies. Now, you register today you register this one, tomorrow you register this one. Don't forget, you're going to be paying tax to the state and federal on this, state and federal on this, state and federal on this. So I'd just rather you register one umbrella limited liability, then you can have subsidiaries. And those subsidiaries, what you can now do is you can now trademark the names of the subsidiaries under the parent company, and all of that. So usually what we do is when you're writing the objects of that company, you make it as encompassing as possible so that whatever other businesses you end up running on in the future can fit in under the object with which you register that company as CAC.
Oh, interesting perspective, because thank you so much for the insights you brought to us today. It's amazing, it's awesome. Thank you very much. So any final word for us entrepreneurs here as a matter of closing what it is we've discussed today? Well,
I'm also an entrepreneur, so whatever word it is for all of us.
Great.
Okay, well, all I'm going to say is whatever it is you heard about law is most likely not true, or whatever notion it is you have is mostly false. Is a mystery. It's like a myth that the legal profession has built around it. Law is simple. Like I've explained it to you now. I'm sure there are some things I've said that you can relate to. Also, you may not actually have a policy to. I've been losing money on this end. I've been losing money on that end. I can actually just use a policy to block that. So, law is not as monsters as they make it look. So that is also part of why I want to also use the education, and all of that to drive the new legal narrative. And that is one of the things that Pocket Lawyers is about. So please, I want you to be more amenable, to your lawyer, to whichever lawyer it is you have access to. And if you don't, like I said, you can always reach out to me. And trust me, by to the best of my ability, I would ensure that I give you the best. And trust me, I have a network, a large network of fellow lawyers.
Yeah.
So whatever it is you do, whatever kind of business it is you run, whatever things it is you are planning to do, trust me, I got you.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
And I got a whole large network to get you.
That's interesting.
Oh yes. So yeah. So let me also say this. They just try to make law and lawyers. When people meet me, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you're a lawyer." I'm like, "What is a lawyer supposed to be? Like, am I supposed to be stiff and act like
that kind of thing?"
What's all the seriousness for? We're also going to die at the end of the day. So what's the?
Let's just be serious along the way.
So it's part of the whole mystery that they're trying to create around the law. And then when they're talking to you, they're using all those big legal language, all those legalese. And I'm looking at them like, oh my God. Oh, my people. They do it on purpose. They do it to bamboozle you.
So the money can come out.
Hey, my brother. There's nothing there. Trust me. It's really not that serious. I beg.
Thank you so much, Ngozi, for being here with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. And let's not forget, for everyone that's on this call, this event is presented with AWS Amazon Web Services, and we have our offers available, again up to $1,000 in AWS Activate credits, and many more. After this event, I'll be sending out a mail to inform us about the offers we have, and then get those that are interested to sign up for the offer. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And once again.
Oh, sorry. One thing.
Okay.
I would like to drop the link to my community. We have a community where we do articles once in a while where we drop, and then if you have questions pertaining your business, you can always ask. You can either ask in the group or you ask me directly. So I'll drop that link. I guess you can also help me, push the link.
Definitely. I'll just integrate the link into the newsletter I'm sending so that people can have that too and be able to join your community. Thank you so much.